Hey Sainers, welcome back to the Saints TV YouTube channel. Bit of an off-the-cuff video today after the incredible events of last night. If you're living under a rock, I'll just update you. Melbourne smashed the Western Bulldogs in the 2021 Grand Final, ending their 57-year Premiership drought. They were incredible. We all know it. They just dominated the Dogs pretty much from the third quarter on to the last quarter. I think the final... They kicked like 16 of the last 17 goals of the game, and basically nothing was going to stop them from ending their drought. As a result, obviously this video isn't just to talk about that game because that game doesn't have St Kilda involved, but that indirectly means that we, as a club, St Kilda, hold the longest Premiership drought, which is now, I think, around 55 years as of 2 days ago. So 1966, 2021, 55 years. It is now the longest drought in the competition. And, up until about 5-6 years ago, it wasn't even close to that. We had the Bulldogs were going at 62 years, I think, without a premiership. They broke that drought. The year after that, Richmond going 37 years, broke that drought. Sydney Swans, I think, back in 2005, going 72 years, broke that drought. So teams are doing it. And now Melbourne have done it. And that leaves us with... a lot of envy, a lot of jealousy, and that's exactly how I felt last night watching the game. I didn't want the Bulldogs to win, but I didn't really want to be barracking for Melbourne at the same time because it just meant, it just put us right at the bottom again. Most wooden spoons, longest Premiership drought. That's as tough as it gets, really, for a supporter, that wants success as much as I do, and I know as much as you guys do. So I just wanted to do a video just to talk about that and just to explain that I don't want us to hide from this. I want us to embrace that it's been 55 years, going on 56, in September 24 next year. So Premiership droughts are there to be broken, but they're only there to be broken if that's all you focus on, you build towards that. We're not building towards, we want to be in finals in 5 years' time and have sustained success for the next 20 years, and by that I mean just making finals and not winning a grand final. We all would take just one-off win in a grand final, and that's the second flag, and that's all we get for the next 10 years. We would all take that because that's better than taking one premiership in the VFL days 55 years ago, right? So we need to learn from Melbourne. I'm not only envious of what they did on the football field yesterday, but as a football club as a whole, one thing I noticed about them for most of this year and really, pretty much this whole year, they've really made an effort to connect with their past heroes and look at their history in the face. Look at it dead in the eye and say, it's been 57 years. That's too fucking long. It's time to change that now. No one else can change that fact. Only them. Only the players on the ground. Only the coaches on a week-to-week basis, training Monday to Friday, and getting them prepped for a big game. No team this year has been more driven than Melbourne, and you can't say that the Premiership drought wasn't the catalyst for that. What didn't give them some sort of emotional pull towards the performance they put in yesterday? I want us to use 1966, not be embarrassed by it, not try and hide from it and think, our players are only making their own destiny. No, they've got the club's history in the palm of their hand, and I want them to know that. I want them to take the pressure on. Don't hide from it. Don't hide from, we don't talk about finals much. Talk about it every day. Talk about making finals, making grand finals, and winning that second flag. Melbourne, I keep forgetting, that's their 13th flag. It's been a big gap, but they've had 12 other grand finals that they can look at. A long time ago, I know, but at the same, we've got one. We've got one. So now that we have the longest Premiership drought in the AFL, it's really on us to drive this. We need to be the hunters. There's no other club in the competition that is craving that success, craving that Premiership glory more than the red, white and black. That's how I want us to treat that. Melbourne didn't make finals last year. They've gone from no finals to a flag, and they dominated every game they played. And it's not like they kind of fought through some tough games and got there. They finished top. They smashed Brisbane, they smashed Geelong, and they thumped the Dogs in the second half yesterday. Nothing was stopping them from winning that flag. I want us to be the same way. We need to be relentless on the training track, getting new coaches in, dropping players, trading players, delisting players. Melbourne did that from the ground up. And I know a lot of people are going to comment on this video and say, well, that's what happens when you get Petrarca. And obviously that made me sick seeing his performance. He was unbelievable, particularly that third quarter where they got on that run. He started it and he won the Norm Smith 40 disposals, nearly a kilometre meters gained, 2 goals. He was unbelievable. And obviously that's going to hurt a lot of Saints fans. It's going to make us all feel a little bit sick that he could have been a St Kilda player. Same with Bontempelli, same with Norton. We all know the trade. We all know the trade history, but that's not the history we need to look back on. We need to look at 1966 and we need to look at how can we get to this second flag. Melbourne have done it. You know, you look back at some of the games that we've played against Melbourne. In 2005, we belted them. Imagine going back and telling yourself in 2005 when we thumped a Melbourne that Melbourne would be the first team out of the two to win a flag. You would laugh at that. You would have laughed at that, considering the shit they've gone through, the down times, the dark times, the stuffed trades, Jack Watts. They've gone through a lot. Trengrove. They've gone through a lot of shit. And they've made it through. The Dogs at the same time. If I had have gone to my younger self and gone back in time and said in 2009 when we beat them in a prelim or we thumped them in the season and said they would be the first team out of the two to win a flag, I would have said, you're joking. But they've done it. They made it happen because they desperately wanted it to happen. And we had our chances in 2009 and 10. I know. I stupidly watched 2010 documentary yesterday to get warmed up for the grand final. It made me feel sick. But I want us to use that to drive to the next piece of success. We can't just pretend that never happened, and we can't pretend that we don't have the longest premiership drought in the game at the moment at 55 years. I want us to use that. I want us to channel that energy and to really drive towards no one's going to stop us winning this second flag. You know, it's you can run from it, but I want us to look at Melbourne and look at what they've done. You know, I was jealous of the Dogs when they won it in 2016 and of Richmond partly, but this one hits different because they've gone through some dark times. They've changed, they questioned Simon Goodwin when he first started. They got Alan Richardson in, but then they built a strong core. They traded in players. They got Lever, they got May. Even Ben Brown was great yesterday. And then on top of that, they've drafted well with Luke Jackson. They got Petrarca, Oliver, Brayshaw, Viney. They got lucky with some nice father-sons there. Gorn. They've got the nucleus of a superstar midfield, a strong backline, and their forward line's good, but you wouldn't say it's that much better than ours. You know, Cozzy Pickett's very exciting, but he didn't kick a goal yesterday, I don't think. Fritsch is amazing. He's a very good young player. Ben Brown's solid. Same with McDonald. And then Gorn and Jackson go down there and bob up every now and then. But we've got the likes of King, Membry, Marshall, Sharman. We've got players there that are equally as capable. It's just the rest of the ground. The midfield in particular is where I see Melbourne being miles ahead of us and anyone else, really. They battered Bulldogs, and Bulldogs supposedly have the deepest midfield going around. But that doesn't mean you've got the best midfield if it's deep. They've got more players going through there, sure, but Melbourne have got the cream at the top, the star power. And that's what won them the game yesterday. We need to focus on that next year. We need to get some more star power into that midfield. The backline will take care of itself. We will get better there. It's not our weakness. We need to sort out the midfield and the rest will take care of itself. If Melbourne didn't have the midfield they had yesterday, the game would have been different. They kicked about 4 or 5 goals directly from centre square clearances. That's how dominant the midfield was. That's a big difference in losing or winning a grand final. And they've got the balance perfect. Right now, we're building towards that. But you need more than just a good list and to get the structures right to win a premiership. You need to have the drive and the hunger. They had that. I want us to have that. So if anyone from the club is watching, we need to ingrain that into the players in this off-season. That Melbourne have done it. There's no time to waste. Why not us? Like Rat said. Why not us? We can do it. We've got the longest drought. Don't hide from it. Embrace it and change it. Let's end that drought. So I'll leave it there, guys. I just wanted to have a quick talk and share my thoughts on how I'm feeling after Melbourne have won. I'm incredibly jealous, but if they can do it, we can do it. We can do it. We just need to create that moment. There's some pessimistic sayers that disagree, that say, well, Jakey, we're 5-10 years away from that. No, we're not. Melbourne didn't make finals last year. And they did this. Incredible. They turned it around. It can be done. It can be done. The Bulldogs finished outside the top 4 and they made a grand final. They won the grand final in 2016 outside the top 4. All we need to do is make the 8 and anything can happen. We can do it. And, what gives me confidence is the way Melbourne plays, the way I think Rats wants us to play. It's not pinpoint football. It's not finesse. It's brute force power. It's pressure. And it's kicking the ball deep inside 50 and creating turnover goals. That's the way Melbourne play. That's the way at times this year I thought we played. And I think that's the template for us moving forward. So if anything, what we're building towards is something that will stand up in finals. And I think that's only a good sign. So I'll leave it there, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, this little diary entry. I just wanted to get it out before the start of next week after, the aftermath of last night and how I was feeling. I posted on the social media last night and just kind of congratulated Melbourne, but also about what I've just talked about, that we do now have the longest premiership drought. And it's not something that I want us to be ashamed of. It's something I want us to use as a major driving force towards the second flag, and hopefully that can come sometime soon. So I hope you're all enjoying your long weekend, and you're taking care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next video, which will hopefully be in the next 24 hours, Saints TV Weekly, so stay tuned for that. There's a lot of news to talk about from Moorabbin. So until then, guys, take care of yourselves. I'll see you in the next video, and go you mighty Sainers. See you guys.